Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terri Morrow. Say hi, Terri.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Terri and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week, we have a new episode of The West Wing to talk about after a few weeks off, and a new feature we're going to introduce to you later. But first, the not so hot out of the oven finale of The Great American Baking Show.
Yeah, what a weird little thing this turned out to be.
It sure did. I don't know if it just never got any buzz or interest,
really
and
didn't.
I don't know if it's like a chicken and egg thing, if they just didn't try, and so it just never got off the ground, or they tried and it flopped, and so they gave up on it, and
and here's our 1 hour finale. Oh, another episode's over. Here's everybody back. That was nice, but still, it just anticlimactic and weird. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I very much enjoyed it, but I just don't understand how it got put together and why it got put together the way it did. It certainly sounds like they filmed it in one block and these people didn't get to go home in between because the women were saying, I can't wait to get back to my family.
Right.
But then how quickly did that happen? And
right.
I have so many questions. But what was on the screen was very lovely and enjoyable. Yeah. And, some weirdnesses about it, even so. I mean, there was so much buildup to Stephanie's macaroons not going to work because it was humid and then it was raining and oh my gosh, and then no mention of it once they were done.
I'm like, oh, they look great.
Not even so much as I'm surprised you didn't have a problem given the fact that you're in a tent and it's pouring outside.
Right.
After all that buildup, they're delicious.
They're good. And honestly, they didn't look appetizing because of the color. They looked kind of gray.
They did.
And I don't even know what flavor they were supposed to be, but it wasn't a tasty looking flavor.
It seemed like they were saying that her custard was not done at all, that she was going to just put it out just to show she did something. And then they were like, well, it's slightly underdone, but it's fine. So it's like, is that, again, drama that was put in the editing room and didn't ever, because none of it paid off.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was really fine with either one of them winning. They both seemed nice. They had good backstories. I thought that they saved Amanda's backstory really nicely because we've been complaining that she was getting kind of an edit that made her, seem a little unpleasant and that she's just talking about her family all the time and all of that. But I thought that when they had the little scene at her home was very adorable. And what her husband was saying is that he hopes this gives her confidence to understand that, what she's doing is so great and she has so much ability. That kind of made me want her to win.
Mm-hmm. And her kids in their cute glasses.
Exactly. Yes.
They were adorable.
I had been
But there was also adorable pictures of Stephanie as a tiny tot.
There was. And so both of them had very nice little testimonials from home. So that I was really, by the time they were announcing, I really didn't care which one. Either one, I would have been happy for her and sad for the other person. So, and that's a good way to end a competition. That's the way you should want it to be, I guess, unless you're doing Dancing with the Stars and you want people to call and, vote. But it was very satisfying.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand why they didn't have an extra week when people left.
Yeah.
How was this going to be? Was it originally going to be a 3-person finale? And so then they made it a 2-person finale? Because the 2-person finale was a little weird. It seemed a little underpopulated. It probably would have been better with 3. Yeah. So maybe that's what it would have been. And they just used the extra week to just narrow it down to those 2 final people.
Right.
And, but it would have been good if somebody had said that.
Yeah,
it would have been so easy.
We've been looking for just a little explanation, please.
Yeah, and I really, maybe now that it's over, somebody somewhere will say, what was the time frame that this was filmed over?
Mm-hmm.
And, how much baking did you make these poor people do in this small space of time? And I don't know if they've said this every week, but this time I heard at the beginning that they were going to name America's Best Amateur Baker, which, how did we get down to these 10? I think you have to establish, if you're going to say, this is America's Best Amateur Baker. We had competitions all over the country at which we invited all the best amateur bakers in the area, and we came down to these 10. I do not believe they did that. I think these are... No. This is the best amateur baker amongst the people we could scrape up.
Amongst the people who sent in a video to our casting agent.
It's got to be that, right? It can't be anything else. Or is there a great network of amateur bakers whom they asked to put forward 10 worthy candidates? Some of these people have mentioned that they haven't really been baking for that long, so that doesn't seem like it could be. But they were all very enjoyable, very photogenic. I was noticing, I was watching all this baking going on, and I was thinking, I really like Amanda's blouse. I like the way it sort of moves as she's doing all this stuff. It flows nicely, and Steph's top is really cute, too. I wonder how much they styled these women. They must have, right? They must have.
I don't
Did they
know.
give them a... they all had those really artfully arranged scarves with their jackets when they were outside. Somebody's coming around... touching up the makeup while they're baking.
It just seems like they didn't have much budget for that kind of stuff.
I guess not. Well, then you have to be a good baker and you have to have nice clothes. Please send in your wardrobe.
It's all about the being photogenic for every
I guess that's why that one lady who started off, who I had forgotten about, the
grandma.
Yeah, that's why she was out immediately. We're sorry. We're not sure how you slipped in here, ma'am, but you're going to have to go home.
Time's up.
Oh, well.
It's very strange because the British version, I don't know what it is that makes it more compelling.
Yeah.
We keep saying, it was nice, this was sweet, and the British one is too, but there's something about it that just I can't nail down that makes you more invested or something.
Is it that there are more people, or does it seem like a more legit competition?
Maybe it's the latter.
Yeah.
Like it seems more legit. I don't know. Yeah. And maybe it is, it's more people, so you get to know them better. So you root for them and often they're showing them with their kids at home or at their job or whatever it is, so that you feel more invested.
I think they did that in the first episode and then stopped. I don't remember it. Between the first episode and this last one, I don't remember. If they did it, it was few and far between. Because that's what you want to see.
Yeah.
That gets you invested in it. Otherwise, you just have to judge what you... And I've said before that I hate the reaction shots, that when they're judging one person's thing, they're showing the other person. It's especially bad if you only have two people left.
Yeah.
I hated it. Every time they did it, I said, stop that. These people are in a panic. It's terrible time.
I don't even believe that those shots were necessarily taken at the same time.
Yes.
They're just sticking in some footage of the opponent.
That is an excellent observation. I had not thought of that. But I was also thinking that, you've shown these clips of their home life in which you've established that one of them has confidence issues and the other one is a perfectionist. And now you're going to show them agonizing over whether they're going to be able to beat the other one. You've also shown them as friends and having a very good rapport. We don't need that part. We know that's there. Do not show them eating their hearts out while somebody else's thing is being talked about. It's cruel. It's
cruel, and
not
it's
as cruel
not,
as whatever the challenge was. But yeah, it's
the cruel. It's not believable.
It's not believable.
It's like they're trying to do too many things at once.
They really are. And I also, again, will put in one last complaint about some of the time limits on these things.
Yeah.
I guess if they're trying to get how many episodes were there? 8 episodes or whatever, filmed in a short period of time. I guess they have to do it, but it just seemed, here, do these 10 really hard things you've never done before. You have 2 hours.
Right.
It couldn't be 3, it couldn't be 4. And then when they had the final challenge where they got to just make 3 of anything they wanted to make. And I'm thinking, oh, that's great. You pick the 3 things you know you're strongest at. You pick your 3 really just knockout things and you put them out there. It'll be easy for you. You've practiced it. And they're all going, I'm going to try this thing I've never tried before.
Right.
I think I'm just going to really go out there and just make the most complicated things I can make. I don't know if I have enough time, but I'll just try it. What is the matter with you? Make snickerdoodles. Come on.
Come on.
It doesn't have to be
Introduce
that
Mary
hard.
to the wonder of the snickerdoodle. Now,
oh my goodness, stop it. But anyway, so
the
it was
baking show.
The baking show. I would watch another one of these in a minute. I don't know if there will ever be another one. The entire lack of fanfare for this thing leads me to believe that like somebody approved it at ABC before they lost their job, and the person who got the job had to just get rid of it.
I could just follow up, no matter what. Yes,
Such a
we
shame.
will see what happens.
Yeah, but I wish them luck.
Pleasant, but perhaps undercooked.
Undercooked, yes. It didn't quite rise the way we had hoped it would.
Exactly.
It's a little eggy in the middle.
So now we're going to move on. Goodbye,
Yes,
bakers.
goodbye,
and we're
bakers.
going to get back into the West Wing.
Yes.
We have been off for a few weeks as the West Wing Weekly podcast took a holiday break, but they are back and we are back. And the episode was Bartlet's Third State of the Union.
Yeah, and it was indeed the one where CJ was not wearing pants.
It's not, and not only
it correctly,
CJ.
and Ainsley as well, having really kind of a bad end to her evening. But
yeah,
I personally call shenanigans on Bartlet even having the least notion of how to get down to the steam pipe trunk distribution venue. The fact that he would be strolling down there, even to bring Sam back for a meeting, seems unlikely. But okay.
Right. Yes, that whole thing was quite goofy
if
and
necessary.
Yeah, all about let's show Ainsley that her worst nightmare was actually far better than what happened in real life.
Oh, poor Ainsley.
Poor thing.
Yeah, I had no particular enthusiasm to watch this episode, and in fact, I was kind of going to blow it off and just go by my memory and just listen to the podcast. But listening to the podcast, it reminded me of some scenes in it that pay off in upcoming episodes. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is, one should imagine a large amount of a word I can't say heading in the general direction of a fan, and it's going to take it a little while to get there, but kind of got launched. So I am going to be enjoying seeing that pay out, and I'm glad I went back and did watch the episode so that I would have that in my mind when it pays off down the line. And in so doing, found that there were many delightful scenes in it that I liked very much. So I was glad that I went back and watched it.
You got Marlee Matlin, you got Emily Proctor, you got Corbin Burnson being on the TV. You got some nice work from CJ, but as you noted to me before we started recording, the Bartlet and Abby scenes, or not even just Bartlet and Abby, but all of the Stockard Channing scenes in this one, where she tells off Bartlet, where she tells off Toby, good stuff.
Things will become clearer as we go on. But I think they mentioned in the podcast that it's a 2-parter. And I forgot about that. But yes, there is, because there's a scene, a Joey Lucas scene that I was expecting, and it didn't come. And I thought, oh, maybe it was in a different episode. But no, it's part of this State of the Union night thing. It's just must be in the next episode.
Yeah, it's not really billed as a 2-parter, but
it's not. Yeah,
it's clear that what is going to happen is that they left a lot hanging.
Right. I mean, they got to pay off.
They need to go back to it.
They got to pay off the Columbia thing, and they've got to. and the poll, how did the poll go and all that. So yes, there is a scene coming up.
The numbers. I want the numbers.
Can we just open up one of these computers and pry them out?
Oh, can we get a screwdriver? Like, this is not how computers work.
Poor Josh. But so it was good. It was a good episode, better than I had recalled. Although I did fast forward through all the scenes with the police officer because I just find those so sad. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to go there. But I thought the podcast was very good. I liked the bit with the speechwriter talking, providing some perspective on it.
Yes, the basically the real life Toby.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah, it was. So glad to be watching this again and looking down the road at some of the upcoming episodes and rubbing my hands together in anticipation.
Good.
So,
Good. Yeah, there seems to be a lot, like you said, things setting up for like, what's to come.
And I know how they pay off, and you don't, but I'm anticipating. I think that it not be the next episode, but I think the episode after that is somebody's going to emergency, somebody's going to jail, is the start of like a 3-episode real powerhouse. So I'm looking forward to those.
There's 2 more. Next week we're going to watch The War at Home.
Okay.
And then the following week is one called Ellie.
Oh yes.
And then
it's also a good one. That is also
then
a
it's
good
the
one.
Yeah. Someone's going to do emergency, someone's going to jail.
That's such a good one. That's such a good one. And 17 people, 2 after that. Stackhouse full of Buster isn't bad either. So there's some good ones coming up, in other words, that I will not think, don't need to see that. So
right. You're going to be all in.
Yes, absolutely. For a little while.
As long as the power doesn't go out or any unforeseen pink squirrels that you're drinking that cause you to...
Yeah. We'll see how much longer my Netflix subscription goes. But we should be able... I have DVDs.
You have the DVDs.
I have the DVDs for at least the first 4 seasons, so...
So you're good for a while.
I'm good for a while. For a long while.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, since we are finished with the baking show and we are going to keep watching The West Wing, but we decided we wanted to bring in a new feature to our round 2s, and we are calling it the challenge round.
Yeah.
So do you want to explain to the nice people what that is?
Well, we've been trying, I think as we've talked here before, trying to think of another classic series that we wanted to watch, but it's been difficult, keeping up with 2 different series at a time, and we couldn't think of anything that was really just speaking out to us as something we wanted to watch. So what we are going to start is this challenge round, where each week one of us will challenge the other to watch something that we love that our co-podcaster has not yet seen. And every week we hope we will accept that challenge. I don't know. We'll have to think of what we'll do if we don't want to.
If we say no?
We will have to think of some dire circumstance, some dire punishment. You'll make me watch an episode of Downton Abbey, and I'll make you watch an episode of John from Cincinnati, and that will be mutually assured destruction. But anyway, we often talk when we talk together that, and I've seen something that you haven't, or vice versa, and gee, I should watch that, but without the pressure of having to talk about it for the podcast, it generally doesn't happen. So to kick off our challenge round, I challenge you to watch something I have been nagging you to watch for a really long time. So here, now I know you will watch it, which is the PBS documentary about In the Heights. I believe it's called Chasing, the subtitle is Chasing Broadway Dreams, something along those lines. But it is, I have watched it a ridiculous number of times, and I just love it. And when I watch it, I just get sucked. It's all on YouTube in parts, but if you get them lined up correctly, it just goes from one part to the next. And it's so delightful just in and of itself, of seeing how this show got put together, seeing the enthusiasm of everybody, and seeing it ultimately pay off in success. But it's also like baby Hamilton, people, so much crossover. There originally was a lot of crossover. All the creative team is the same. Christopher Jackson was in it. And now Mandy Gonzalez and Karen Olivo, who are the 2 female leads in The Heights, are both playing Angelica in New York and Chicago. A lot of the background people are recognizable if you've watched videos of Hamilton. I think some of the people who were originally just in the company of Hamilton have moved up to regular parts. I'm going to have to research who they all are, but so it's like watching like a little test tube version of what you will later come to know and love. So I found it so delightful and so compelling and tear inducing and great, and have told you that many times, and you still have not watched it. I challenge you to watch this for next week, Catherine. Make it happen.
I accept.
We will, in the show notes for this week, we will give the link to that. It's on our documentary playlist on our YouTube channel. So you can just go and enjoy it with us. Many extreme close-ups of really cute people.
Excellent. That sounds like a challenge I'm going to enjoy very much.
And meanwhile, you will be thinking of something to force me to watch next week.
That's right. So next week we will cover that In the Heights documentary. I will lay down a new challenge for Terri.
Yes.
And we will also watch The West Wing, The War at Home.
Okay.
And that's going to be it for today's podcast. Today's round 2. So please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes, including our daily speed rounds and weekly group chats. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terri.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.